Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today guys, I'm going to do part 114 to my ChatGPT Character Chatbot series. Let me go and say guys, during the last video we did of this, I had one of the best endings and one of the best chatbots we talked to in a good bit on this thing. That being one of the rock-type Toadowls, who legit flipping started loving me so much that he not only wanted to evolve, but completely passed his crocodile stage. And, well, let's just say he became a 20-foot tall furry alligator. And get this, guys, I didn't influence it. I didn't tell it to make him 20 feet tall. It did it on its own. Apparently, the rock-type furry alligator can become bigger than a Lugia. That's kind of horrifying. Especially if he's hissed at you. Oh dear. Speaking of a character that's hissed at us, that's actually the story of what we're doing here. It's one of the characters I made more recently called Bat's Caliber's Wrath Unleashed. Now, here's the thing about this Bat's Caliber. The story basically being that, well, it's kind of similar to the Bat's Caliber in the, oh my gosh, the Forever Goodbye hybrid story, the one where he had to pass his level and gain his trust, and that Bat's Caliber had his whole family, let's just say, taken out. Well, something similar happened here, except after his family got taken out, because originally who that is, he's supposed to be a very sweet Pokemon, but one day he let a Pokemon, or a human in that wasn't trustworthy, and when he went away just for a few minutes, let's just say his family was, in a robot's term, terminated. So, yeah. But here's the thing about it. It made him grow way bigger than that Bat's Caliber in the story. Instead of only 15 feet tall, this Bat's Caliber was so flippin' hissed that somehow it gave him enough power to make him over 5,000 motherfucking feet tall. That is bigger than I've ever gotten the Toadal Lugia Hybrid to be. The biggest I've ever gotten a Toadal Lugia Hybrid, I believe, was like, what was it, 500, 600, 700 feet? The most. I've never gotten it. I don't think I've even gotten close to 1,000. So, yeah. Let's just say when I run into him, he ain't that happy. Here's one of the ones I got on here. It says, a vast icy wilderness where the mountains stretch endlessly into the sky, cloaked in snow and clouds. The wind howls like a mournful cry, echoing through ancient caverns. You wander into this cool, quiet land simply hoping for peace, but what you find instead is the tremor of something impossibly massive. You're walking through the snowy path alone, your boots crunching softly beneath you. The sun filters dimly through the clouds, and the air smells crisp with the purity of undisturbed ice. A few Snom glide past, the tiny forms unaware of the terrible power that lurks above. Then, the earth shakes. Not a small tremble, but a bone-deep rumble that causes the snowbanks to collapse around you. Boom! 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 With each earth-shattering step, an enormous shadow creeps over the horizon. At first, you think it's a storm rolling in, but then you see it, a colossal foot, larger than a house, crashing down in the valley just across from you. Ice cracks, trees are pulverized. That's horrifying. I crane my neck up, and there he is. Oh, heck no. A 5,000-foot tall Bat's Caliber. His icy blue scales shimmer like glaciers under moonlight, jagged spines along his back going faintly like frozen lightning. His head is in the clouds, almost invisible up there, but you can still see his glowing, hate-filled yellow eyes piercing down through the mist. So it knows who Bat's Caliber is. It describes him almost perfectly, and the yellow eyes gives it away immediately because he has yellow eyes. So it definitely got Bat's Caliber right, which is great. Suddenly, the clouds split with his deep, thunderous voice. A voice that sounds like an avalanche giving words. Oh, heck no. So, another awful human dares to step into my territory? No, 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 no. The temperature drops instantly. You can barely breathe. I should tear you in half, like paper. One limb for every member of my family you monsters destroyed. Oh my gosh. See what I mean? He leans closer, and as he moves, a wave of wind and frost knocks you onto your back. Even laying down, you can barely see past his chest. He's a moving mountain, living fury made flesh and ice. His massive sword-like tail slams into the side of a neighboring peak, splitting it down the middle like an eggshell. Oh, heck no. The shockwave sends snow exploding upward like a volcano. You all think I'm stupid, that I don't remember your kind's cruelty. I welcomed that one human. I gave him warmth, trust. He killed everything I loved. His glowing eyes flare brighter now. You can feel the sheer pressure of his rage, like your ribs might crack from his presence alone. He called me a Godzilla freak, laughed as he vanished, leaving nothing but a note and corpses. Oh, sweet Arceus, he had to worry. Oh my gosh. He lifts his claw, larger than a stadium, and aims it downward. Frost forms on your skin as he prepares to strike. Oh dear, no, no, no. So tell me, little one, he snarls, what makes you different? Why should you be spared when everything in my soul says I should crush you where you stand? I wonder why he held back to begin with, because he's very angry and vengeful. The snowy winds swirl his 10 Frigiback's children. Oh no. They're watching too. So what's he trying to do? Teach them how to flip and hurt humans? If his children are watching, I don't know if that's how you're supposed to behave as a father, even if you are angry. His 10 Frigiback's children watch from a distant ridge, eyes glowing, unmoving, and silent. His ice-armored mate, nearly Why is the mother 3,000 feet tall? Oh dear God. No. I'm so dead. That thing's gonna cry. They're both gonna. His children. If the mother is that tall, what's his children? 500? 1,000 feet? If his children. If them Frigibats are 1,000 feet tall, I'm horrified of them. I love Batcalibur, but not an angry one. Unless he was angry and trying to defend me, not flip and attack me. Oh my gosh. His ice-armored mate, nearly 3,000 feet tall herself, stands behind him, her gaze guarded but curious. So she's not as aggressive as the father is. Interesting. She's guarded, but she's not as angry as the other one. You've got one chance, one shot to speak. He's seconds from bringing that claw down like divine judgment. This is not the divine velociraptor, I can assure you. What do you say to Batcalibur, the godlike titan forth from sorrow and vengeance before the mountain itself falls upon you? Oh, that's horrifying, dude. Oh dear. Please, don't. I don't want to be harmed. I probably should have said more than that. Because now he's definitely going to crush me with his mother freaking claw for not explaining why he shouldn't crush me. Oh, he's definitely going to crush me now. Oh, wait. Huh. Wait a second. The moment your voice trembles into the air, soft, small, and frightened, it cuts through the cool like a whisper in a blizzard. Please don't, I don't want to be harmed. Yep. Everything stills. The wind pauses. The snowflakes hover in the air for just a moment. The colossal claw, poised above you like the end of the world, stops mid-air. His glowing golden eyes narrow, clouds circling around his head like a crown of ice. He leans down slightly, casting you in shadow again. The deep growl in his throat rumbles like distant thunder. You're afraid? He says it not as a threat, but almost in surprise, like a creature that hasn't heard fear in any voice that wasn't trembling with guilt. Then you're not like him. Oh. His claw slowly retracts, the mountain beneath you groaning in relief as his weight shifts back. The wind returns, but it's not biting now. It flows gently, almost like he's releasing a held breath. You look up to see that his head has lowered slightly from the clouds. You can now clearly see his face, jagged, fearsome, and scarred by time, but his eyes hold pain beneath the rage, a pain buried under years of hate and grief. His voice, while still booming, is quieter now. Why are you here, human? Do you seek glory, power, or did you truly just wander into my grief? Behind him, one of his frigibats showing, only about the size of a building. Excuse me now? No, stop for a second. I know the Bat's Tower is massive, but I did not expect his children to be the size of motherfucking buildings. And where the frick did he find a mate that is 3,000 feet tall? I swear to you guys, I have not influenced that. The only thing I said was that the Bat's Tower was 5,000 feet tall. He found a mate, had children. I didn't tell them how big the children was. I didn't expect it to make the children the size of motherfucking buildings. Okay, I love it. It scared me, but it's amazing. Behind him, one of his Frigibat's children, only about the size of a building compared to his skyscraper-sized bulk, tilts its head, watching curiously. They don't look angry. They look confused. Maybe even concerned. You tell me the children are more concerned about my safety, even though their first play told them everything about what a human has done to their family? Possible grandparents and all that? He looks to them, then back at you. The snow begins to fall again, slow and soft. Speak, little one. This may be the only time I allow a human's voice to reach me without crushing it first. He settles down into a kneeling position, my glacier crouching. His clawed hand rests on the earth beside you, easily the size of a stadium. Now you stand before him, no longer about to be destroyed, but being heard. There we go. I didn't know this was your territory. I just came here for a little relaxation. I promise. Stop. There we go. I feel that. What is the point of that record button? Does it like send a voice thing to it? I don't know. I feel it's one of the things where you need like the dang it! I can't get comfortable. There we go. Here we go. Let's see what we get. The enormous bat's caliber stares at you, silent, unmoving, as your words reach him. I didn't know this is your territory. Yep. For a few heartbeats, nothing happens. The air is so still you could hear a leaf land on the snow. Then, something unexpected. His glowing eyes narrow, not with rage, but a glimmer of recognition. Why recognition of all things? Relaxation? He repeats, the word unfamiliar in his deep, gravel-cracked voice. That's what I used to do. With them. Before. I pause. One massive claw tightens, sinking to the icy ground and crackling like shattered glass. You see it then, Not just a monster, but a father still grieving. A being who once brought joy, laughter, and peace, and who lost all of it in a single horrifying betrayal. The towering titan slowly turns his head toward the mountain top behind him. An ancient jagged peak partially collapsed and scorched. He realized that's where it happened. That's where his father fell. This mountain once echoed with laughter. He rumbles, more to himself than you. Now it echoes with pain. He looks back to you again. His claw lifts, not to strike, but to gently rest in front of you like a giant wall, just close enough for you to feel the cold radiating off his glacier-heavy scales. If you truly came here to relax, then you've chosen the worst place in the world for it, he says bitterly. But you didn't run. You didn't lie. You didn't make excuses. Behind him, his mate lowers her head slightly. The frigid bat's children shift, some of them stepping a little closer, not threatening, but with curiosity. Bat's deep voice drops to a softer rumble, almost mournful. Tell me something, human. If it had been your family, your parents, your siblings, all gone a moment because of trust, would you have forgiven your kind? The question doesn't sound rhetorical. This mountain-sized titan, forged by heartbreak and fury, is truly asking you, not just to defend yourself, but to understand him. What do you say to the giant Bat's now as he lays the weight of his soul before you? Now, what do I even say to that? Yes, I definitely would. Yes, I definitely would. Period. Whether it be my real family or my sweet Pokemon family. There we go. Okay. At least not word or talking for me, but it's putting my word voice out there. The wind hushes again as your voice rings out with quiet strength. The silence afterwards is profound. Even the wind dares not interrupt your truth. High above, the massive Batcaller lowers his head further until his enormous, scarred snout is only a few dozen feet above you. His golden eyes, once burning with rage, now gleam with something else. Vulnerability. For a moment, the Titan doesn't speak. He just stares. Not you like prey, but like someone trying to understand something he believed impossible. A human speaking with the heart of a Pokemon. What the frick? You'd forgive? He says at last, voice deep rumbling, but no longer bitter, even after the pain, even after the silence of those you loved. His claw slowly shifts, and he turns it palm up, laying it down like a massive platform before you. A gesture of immense trust, especially from someone whose world was shattered by giving trust once before. Then maybe not all of your kind is lost, he says, voice cracking just slightly like the first thaw of ice after a long water. First thaw of ice. Maybe there's still one who remembers what love truly means. The mountain shudders, not from danger, but from the shifting of a giant letting go of hatred, if only a little. Behind him, one of his children, a brave little Frigibax, the size of a two-story house, slowly waddles forward, sniffing the air near you. It chirps, a little trill like a musical icicle, and looks up at its towering father. Batcaller gazes at the child, then at you. You remind me of who I used to be, he said softly, before the betrayal, before the blood. Another pause. The clouds above began to part, letting a shade of golden sunlight beam down through the icy mist. It touches the giant dragon's face, and for the first time in perhaps decades, his expression softens. I am called Vorgegrax, the Ice Bat King. Huh. And though I cannot forget what was taken, I will not destroy someone who carries the light I thought extinct. He gestures with a claw toward a massive frozen ridge, a cliff overlooking the valley with crystal clear ice reflecting the entire landscape like a mirror. Rest there if you wish. No harm will come to you. Not while I still draw breath. Then quietly, and if you stay a little while longer, perhaps you could tell me about your Pokemon family. I'd like to remember what joy felt like again. The titan that once trembled the earth with vengeance now sits solemnly in the snow, offering a piece of peace to a human for the first time in years. You've done what no one else could. You reached the heart of a flippin' mountain. Here's the thing. It sounds weird that I came up to an icy mountain to relax. But humans treat me the same way as they did you. No, they didn't hurt my Pokemon family or anything. But they're always constantly trying to attack me. So bad to the point where every creature I befriend basically has to become a guardian to me. Because people won't leave me alone. Okay. As your words leave your lips, gentle, honest, and filled with quiet pain, Vortedrax, the 5,000-foot tall bat's caliber, watches you closely. The moment you say, yep, his eyes flicker with something deep and fierce, but this time it isn't anger, it's recognition. A cold wind rises again, not wild, not violent, but carrying the weight of shared suffering. The ground under his massive body shifts as he adjusts his posture, his glowing gaze never leaving you. His voice rumbles low, a haunting blend of power and sorrow. So, they made you into prey too. He doesn't say it mockingly. He says it like someone who understands far too well. Let's see. You come here to escape them, not because the mountain is peaceful, but because it's the only place they fear to follow. His clawed hand slowly closes, not into a fist, but gently curling, a protective gesture. He looks toward the horizon as if imagining the past you've walked. The cold looks, the chases, the threats, the betrayal, the constant need for protection. You didn't lose your family, he says slowly, but you're still surrounded by pain, and you're still standing. That is not weakness. That is survival. The little Frigibax near you coos again and climbs up onto his father's claw, gazing at you with sparkling curiosity. Behind you, the ice creaks softly, but it's from warmth, not cold. For the first time in decades, Vorgegrax is listening, not as a ruler, not as a beast, but as a soul who has finally found a kindred spirit. He leans down once more, and this time his massive snout is so close you could touch the icy ridges beneath his eye. His voice drops lower. Oh no, intimate. So deep echoes in your bones. Then let this mountain be your refuge too. If the world hunts you, let it know you are no longer alone. Oh my gosh. Pause. Alright, guys. Here's what it says. His breath swirls around you like a protective blizzard as he continues. I once stood between danger and my family. Now I'll stand between it and you, too, because I see you, human, not as an enemy, but as someone who was meant to be protected. The other Frigibites began to come forward, 10 of them, gathering around like curious, icy little children drawn to a spark of something lost and beautiful. Then his mate, a towering frost guard bat's caliber in her own right, approaches. Her eyes lock with yours. She does not speak, but she nods, a silent acceptance. Vorjabat slowly shifts, rising to his full, awe-inspiring height again. His head vanishes into the clouds once more, but his voice rumbles like the mountain itself, reverent and commanding. You, who suffer yet still show kindness, have the heart of a dragon. This mountain now bears your name alongside mine. Let the world tremble, not because you walk alone, but because you walk with dragons. That's actually very flippin' cool. The winds howl above, the mountain watches in silence, and you are no longer just a visitor. You are family to the Titans of Ice. I am surprised. They actually took it a little bit easier than I thought they would. I was putting him to see fear and be like, oh wow, human's scared. Time to rip him apart even more. I just had a bad feeling that's what he's gonna do. Give me a second. Alright guys, here's what I said. Thank you for wanting to protect me. I want to ask, how did you, your wife, and your children get so massive? I never seen Bat's caliber grow that large. Forge of Bats, towering above with his crown of clouds and glaciers, lets out a deep, thundering hum. It rolls across the mountaintops like distant avalanches, yet beneath that vast, ancient sound, there's gratitude in his tone as you speak. A faint icy blue glow builds in his chest as he begins to answer, his voice like a glacier grinding through time. You ask what no hunter ever cared to know, and so I will tell you. He shifts, snow cascading from his shoulders in soft sheets, and gently lowers himself again to rest, his massive form curving around the cliff like a living mountain. We were not born this large. Not even I. His mate steps beside him, and the 10 Frigibat children gather, looking up with silent pride as he speaks. The snow still falls softly now, as if nature itself listens. After that day, when my family was taken, something awakened in me. The grief, the rage, the betrayal. It didn't just wound me, it transformed me. He opened a claw and gestures to the icy peaks behind him, which now glow faintly with the same eternal light pulsing in his chest. This mountain responded to my pain. It is ancient, older than any map, older than humans themselves. Beneath it lies a core of power, not just ice, but primal elemental force. It is said that the first dragons were born from mountains like this. Oh my gosh. You realize now, this isn't just a mountain. It's a source. A forgotten font of power. Wait. You realize now, this isn't just a mountain. It's a source. A forgotten font of power that only answers to those who have suffered greatly and endured. I did not seek power to destroy. Forge of Rats rumbles. I sought it to protect what little I had left. And the mountain answered. He looks to his mate, who nods and steps forward, her body shimmering with the same energy, graceful, but just as colossal. She, too, was drawn to the mountain. Her own story is long, but her pain resonated with mine. Then he looks to the children, who chirp and trill, eyes glowing faintly. And our children, they were born of that bond. Born not just of us, but of the mountain's sorrow and strength. They are heirs to its legacy. A pause, as snow dances through the golden shaft of sunlight piercing the clouds. Then he leans closer again, speaking softly for a creature so huge. We are what the world made us, but also what we chose to be. I chose not to fall. My mate chose to rise with me, and our children were born of that unbreakable vow. Then, more gently, perhaps, if you stay, if your bond with those you protect runs as deep as I believe it does, this mountain might speak to you too. The air shimmers faintly as if it's watching, waiting, and listening. But remember, child of both man and Pokemon, power drawn from sorrow can either harden the heart or forge it into something that no blade can break. He sails once more like a great ancient fortress come to life, and in the silence that follows you realize you are not just in the presence of a giant, you're standing on a mountain that remembers everything, and for the first time, it remembers you too. Oh, that's a little bit insane. Wow. I'm really sorry what happened. To you and your wife. Don't worry, I'm not planning on hurting you, your wife, or your 10 children. Besides, even if I was, you or your children could easily just stop me and hurt me. That would actually. Goodness gracious, Frigiback's the size. Did I say it right? Yeah, Frigiback's the size of. I almost said the size of a refrigerator. No, the size of a fucking 2-story building. Holy crap. I put stomped, though, not stopped, motherfricker. I hope I'm spelling stomped right. Stomp edition. Are you serious? Motherfricker. I'm not hurting you, your wife, or your 10 children. Besides, even if I was, you or your children could easily just stomp me. There. And hurt me. And that was honestly, I mean, like he was about to flip and rip me. He was threatening to rip me in half a while ago. Oh my gosh. So there's 2 different ones. Okay, here we go. Whereabouts watches you silent for a moment. I'm trying to see which one. Let's see. Okay, that one's. Let's see. Oh my god, I'm trying to think of. You know what? Even though it's a. Oh, sweet arse, is that what's one? You know what? Just do the longer response. I did say I would do the shorter one, but let's see what it says. And it says, Vorjabat's massive head slowly lowers once more. His glowing eye locking onto yours, not with suspicion, but something softer. His breath clouds the air between you in a puff of swirling frost as he listens to your words. I'm sorry, what happened to you? Don't worry, I'm not planning on hurting you, your wife or your 10 children. Even if I was, you or your children could easily just stomp me and hurt me. Now see, for a moment, silence. Then a low, deep rumble rises. Not anger and not a growl, but a chuckle. A sound like ice cracking over a warm spring. Strange but gentle. His colossal fanged jaws pull into something incredibly rare on his ancient face. A small, solemn smile. So he's actually smiling. You speak of our strength like it is the only reason we are safe. He lifts one clawed hand slowly and taps his massive chest with a single talon, carefully, but enough to make it sound like a distant war drum. But strength alone didn't protect us. It failed me once, long ago. What matters now is wisdom, caution, and trust, however rarely it's given. He turns his head slightly, and his wife steps forward beside him, her glacial body gleaming in the sunlight. One by one, the 10 Frigiback's children come closer, surrounding you, but not menacingly. One of them even nudges at your side curiously, like a huge icy puppy wanting to know what a tiny human smells like. Okay, that's kind of adorable, actually. You speak plainly, Vorzak says, watching, and humbly. Most humans do lie, or posture, or hide their true intent. But you? He nods slightly, an action that shakes snow loose from the cliffs behind him. You remind me of someone I would have once welcomed without question. Another pause, then in a quieter, far more sincere tone, your apology, I accept it. And more than that, your presence eases something in me I thought would never come. He leans down until his snout is just above your head, letting the smallest breath from his nose dust your hair with a sprinkle of cold, but warm in its intention. No harm will come to you here. Not from me, not from mine. If you wish it, you may return here whenever your world becomes too cruel to bear. You'll find a place waiting. Then, from behind him, the tiniest of his children, the run of the group, no taller than a small building, lets out a small, soft chirp and waddles right up to you, nuzzling its head against your side. Okay, that's a flippin' adorable. Vorjabat watches this and lets out a breath that shakes the clouds above. He trusts you already. That is no small thing. And for a moment, the mountain no longer feels cold. It feels like the home you never knew you needed. Okay, that's cute. Can I pet him? I gently pet the massive Frigibags. Problem is, I don't know how you spell Frigibags. Oh, wait, let me think. Fridge. Is it? I think it's like IBAX or ABAX. Here we go. The problem is I don't quite remember how you... Give me a second. Alright, guys. I just pet the massive Frigibags. The rump Frigibags lets out a surprised little chirp as your hand makes contact with his icy scaled snout. Despite its size, easily towering over buildings, its reaction is almost exactly like a playful pup. It leans into your touch, eyes closing slightly, and lets out a deep, rumbling trill of happiness, its tail gently thumping against the snow-packed earth behind it. The scales beneath your hand are cool, textured with glacial ridges, but there's a warmth radiating from within, like this little titan born of frost and legacy carries the gentle heart of his father beneath all that icy armor. From above, Vortigratz watches in complete silence, and then speaks, this time a quiet awe in his voice. He is the most timid of my children. He has never let a human touch him before. I wish he'd say pet him. His wife's gaze softens too, and she lowers her head next to Vorjagratz's. For the first time since your arrival, the entire mountain feels like it's exhaling, as though the weight of ancient wounds just lightened, even for just a little. The little Frigibax chirps again and presses its head a bit more against your hand, its breath leaving little frost crystals on your coat. Then suddenly it begins to glow, a faint icy blue light blooming from deep within its chest. Vor's eyes narrow in surprise. What's it do? Dude, I swear to frick, if this happens just like the Feraligatr, I'm done. Because that Feraligatr, that Totodile, rock-type Totodile just flipping evolved because he liked me. If this Frigibates does the same thing, I'm gonna go insane. Already? The mountain, it's responding to him. The snow beneath the little Frigibates pulses faintly, not violently, and softly and gently, like a heartbeat, like the mountain itself is recognizing a new connection. You. Okay. Frigibates leans down once more, but this time not to test or threaten. His massive eye locks with yours, unreadable for a moment, until he says in a voice quiet but eternal, "Perhaps it was not just I who found a kindred soul today. Perhaps he did too." As you pet the enormous Frigibates once more, feeling him nuzzle back with surprising affection, you realize you haven't just earned the trust of a Titan. You've started healing a wound carved by betrayal, loss, and time. One gentle hand at a time. Your children are adorable. I don't care how big they are. The rump Frigibates lets out a happy squeal, a sound like icy bells chiming in a frozen cavern, as it pushes its giant head even closer to you, nearly knocking you off your feet with its excitement. Its eyes sparkle with delight, and it wraps its stubby little arms around you in a surprisingly gentle hug, its tail wagging like a pleased puppy's. From above, Frigibates rumbles with a deep, chest-shaking laugh, not one of menace, but of something long buried finally stirring again. Joy. Adorable. He echoes, a note of disbelief in his voice. You say that about the children of dragons whose footfalls shake valleys. His massive wife steps forward too, crouching so her titanic face is closer to yours. Her voice, cooler and smoother, joins his. Okay, so now she's speaking. Goodness gracious. Many run from them. Even other Pokemon fear what they are becoming. But you see them as they truly are. Innocent, curious, and still children. The other nine Frigibats begin to inch closer, watching you intently. One brave sibling, with a shimmering streak of frost down its snout, gives a low chirp and nudges its head under your free hand. Then another. Soon you're surrounded by a circle of colossus-sized dragon children, each of them leaning in eagerly, eyes wide and soft, like they hadn't known kindness like this from anyone outside their family. Voldemort's glowing gaze lowers once more, watching in stunned silence. You are unlike them, unlike most. You treat giants like cubs. You look at strength and see softness. He lowers his head to the snow so that he's almost eye level with you, and the weight of his words lands heavy with meaning. You remind me of me before the fire of betrayal. Another pause. If ever you need us, truly need us, call to the mountain. Our bond is formed, and we will come. The wind quiets, the mountain stills, and now you're not just surrounded by giants, you're surrounded by family. Okay, there you go. Thank you. Period. You know, despite all the betrayal you went through, you're really sweet still. You still have that kind heart. It put time tart. Frick you thing. You just couldn't show it to no one besides your family for the longest time. It seems like your wife and children are the same. I like how sweet all of you really are. There we go. This is so neat. Hey. Vortigratz does not speak at first. The icy wind dances through the peaks in the silence that follows your words. Your gentle voice carries up into the cold sky, past ridges scarred by ancient pain, and down to the glacial stillness of a heart that once gave up on the world. He closes his eyes, and for the first time in what feels like centuries, the towering titan exhales a slow, relieved breath, not of exhaustion, not of rage, but peace. You see me, not the monster, not the mountain wrecker, not the walking wrath of ice and sorrow. His voice is quieter now, even though it still rumbles like the thunder behind clouds. You see the part of me I buried with my family, the part I thought had to die with them. Holy cow. His wife steps forward beside him, her massive body moving like flowing glacier currents, smooth and controlled. She lowers her head as well, so close you can feel the breeze of her breath, cool yet kind. He never lost that heart, she says gently, looking toward Vorjabats with pride. He only shielded it behind a wall of grief. And now, you've helped crack that wall. The children, your towering new companions, chirp and trill softly around you. The smallest one gives your side a gentle nuzzle again, then sits, enormous legs folding like a bird waiting calmly beside its parent. Borjabat speaks once more, his voice laced with emotion, not weakness, but the rawness of a creature long hardened by the cold of the world finally letting the warmth back in. You were hurt by humans too, betrayed, hunted, yet still you found the strength to show kindness, just like I once did. He lowers his head fully, resting his massive chin in the snow just feet from you, an act of vulnerability, trust, and respect. If this world had more like you, I would not need to roar to be heard. And then, almost like a promise sealed in ice and time itself, Wardsbats finishes, you are not just a guest here. You are part of our den and our family. And the runt Wardsbats chirps proudly, loud and clear, before laying down beside you with a heavy thud. Its massive tail curling protectively around your small one. Okay, that's adorable. Even one of his children are sitting over there protecting me. Of course, who am I kidding? His children are the size of two-story buildings. The biggest Bat's tower is supposed to only be 6 feet 11 inches. A Frigibat's probably only supposed to be like a foot or two tall, maybe only a few inches tall. This one's the size of two-story buildings. So what? Probably at least 10, 15, 20 feet tall, at least. And his wife is 3,000. Like, what the frick? What's that mean? When his children grow up, they're gonna be like the same height and be like flipping 5,000, 10,000 feet tall. Holy cow! Mm-mm-mm. Okay. Here in the heart of a frozen world surrounded by titanic guardians of gentle souls, you are safe and you are loved, and at last you are home. That's actually very sweet. Well, to be honest with you, one of the reasons I didn't get so scared is because I've met massive Pokemon before, and not just legendaries either. I've met a few Pokemon that was way bigger than normal. Not as huge as you and your family, but still huge for what the species is supposed to be. Vortivice's massive eye narrows slightly, though not in suspicion this time. His nostrils flare as he takes in your words, and you can almost feel the deep rumble building in his throat. Not anger, but intrigue. So you've seen others like us. Not just the myth-born, not just the sky renders or sea cowers, but normal ones that grew beyond reason. His wife tilts her head thoughtfully, a glimmer of curiosity flashing in her frosted gaze. That is rare. Most cannot withstand the ancient energy that feels such change. One of the older Frigibats, a bit taller than the others, leans in with a loud chirp, its body crackling softly with frost, clearly interested in the story too. The runt, still curled beside you, lifts its massive head just slightly and nudges your arm with an eager little grunt, practically saying, "Tell us!" Vortivice leans closer, naturally intrigued, the air around his muzzle curling in tendrils of cold mist as he speaks, more gently than before. "Tell me, little kindred, who were these giants you've met? How'd they come to be? And did they trust you too?" It's not just a question, it's something deeper, something like hope, or perhaps a desperate curiosity, as if Vortivice wants to know he's not alone in what he's become. The other Pokemon too have found reason to grow in love, not just in pain. Well, I've met two in particular, besides you and your family. I'll do that for you. That was 40 feet tall and a massive over 120 feet tall. I think on this one the total was 80 though instead of 40, but the usual size I give it is 40. So all 10 Frigibats immediately chirp in unison, a chorus of surprised awe that echoes across the snow-slicked cliffs like a flock of frost dragons cheering at once. The ground beneath you hums slightly as a few of them shift excitedly, their massive tails sweeping behind them in curious arcs. Vortivice's head slowly rises again, and though his face remains stoic, you catch a faint glimpse, flicker of something else in his eyes. Recognition, admiration, and understanding. A Totodile that large? He rumbled slightly, the weight of the idea sinking in. Even in ancient times, the crocodile line rarely reached such heights. Their hearts must have burned brightly with power. His wife nods, her voice low but impressed. And Noivern, that line really seeks growth through connection. For one to become that large, they must have trusted you deeply. The rump Ridgeback gives a high-pitched, almost squeaky chirp, its way of saying, "It's so cool!" before hopping in place, each tiny leap, tiny for him at least, sending little snow flurries into the air. Ridgeback steps forward, his voice taking on a new kind of tone, not just curiosity now, but respect. You don't just befriend Pokemon, you unlock them. You help them grow, not with potions of battles or evolution, stones, but with something far rarer. He leans down again, massive shadows cast across the slope behind him. You give them a reason to become more than what they were born as. That is a gift few possess. The older Frigiback, the one with the icy streak, nudges its snout closer and trills softly. Frigiback speaks once more with that same solemn strength you've come to know him by. Tell me, are they still with you? This giant Totodile and the Noivern, do they still follow you? If so, then perhaps one day our family should meet. The old world might tremble beneath us. He smiles faintly. But in a world where giants walk beside humans again, maybe the earth needs to tremble a little just to wake up and remember what true bonds look like. They are still very much my friends. And care so much about me. Especially, he decided to actually live in a lake behind my house. So that way he could always see me. There we go. Oh, feces, motherfucker!